Before I start, I wanted to get some Fab Shop business out of the way. I wanted to find out how many of you are Fab Shop members. Okay, hey, that's great. And then I also wanted to ask those of you who are not Fab Shop members to participate. The annual membership is $100, and I think Lori provides so many wonderful benefits through the Fab Shop network that you should consider joining. I also wanted to mention that I have a book coming out, and then also this series of webinars that I'm going to be talking about today. The webinars will be starting in July, and the book is coming out in August. The first thing I wanted to talk about today is ideation. So there's 7 secrets in all. The first is ideation. It's learning how to generate and capture ideas about setting goals that will increase revenue and make your shop thrive. Delegation, about how to allow you to focus on what is important and hand off the rest. And motivation, which empowers your staff to be accountable and responsible for their tasks and duties. Prioritization helps determine what is important in your shop and what is urgent versus important. And the culture is the atmosphere you create in your shop. And lastly is training. It's how you teach your staff to run the shop effectively. Ideation is about triggering new ideas. There are many types of idea generation, and here are 3. Problem solving is used most often, but many other techniques can enable us to come up with something spectacular, to really make a difference in our business, to up our game in a whole new way. Problem solving examples would be your register not working, turn it off and turn it back on. Your fabric line not selling, kit it with a book or pattern and put it on sale. Or an evolutionary idea. An example of that would be going from scissors to a rotary cutter, going from printed communication to email or mobile phone messaging. An evolutionary idea is one that is a game changer. Think iPod. We went from being able to listen to a CD or a record to having thousands of songs at our fingertips without needing a backpack full of discs or records. A symbiotic idea is where you combine ideas and collectively come up with something grand. A symbiotic example would be combining the sewing machine with a computer to create a machine that can stitch anything you can program into it. Think smartphone. We went from a cell phone, which was pretty fantastic, to a handheld computer that can do more than our computers. From texting, music, to health tracking, to paying our bills with the wave of our phone. Let's take a look at the many ways and reasons to generate new ideas. Generating new ideas can be really tough or easy. Sometimes you feel so overwhelmed that even thinking of what else you could do is too much. Well, when you are feeling overwhelmed, that is exactly the time you should be generating new ideas. Ideas that will make your work easier, more profitable, or better. Take the time to develop your idea generating skills. Take notes and follow up on them. You can start by challenging your way of thinking. How? By considering a different point of view or perspective, by realizing that there are many roads to the same place and each one has its pluses and minuses. Schedule time in your day or week to free up 30 minutes to brainstorm new ideas, to read a blog or interesting article. Take a stand for something new. Decide that this week you are going to stop doing something that is no longer working and try something new. Start researching trends in and out of the industry. Look through fashion magazines. They will tell you what is going on and what will be popular in fabric in 2 to 3 years. The next topic is setting goals. Setting goals puts you in the driver's seat, creating a map to get you and your shop where you want to be. I've been conducting goal-setting sessions for 14 years at C&T Publishing and several years in my previous positions. At C&T, we call it strategic planning, and it is a time I look forward to every year. We take time to reflect on the last year, celebrating our successes and looking for opportunities for the next year. We see it as a time to focus on the direction of the company and to realize that we all contribute. One of the best tools for goal setting is to make your goals SMART. So SMART is specific, exactly how you will know that that your goal has been achieved, a dollar amount or some other unit of measure. Measurable, a way to verify that you are on track or if you need to take corrective action to reach your goal. This includes dates and milestones. Attainable, it is the goal. Is the goal realistic or is it a pipe dream? Goals should be a stretch but not impossible. Relevant, is the goal important to the continued success of your shop? If not, why are you doing it? Timely, is it important to execute on this goal? How soon? What is the pain threshold if you do not take action? If you create goals that are SMART, you are well on the road to being able to execute your plan because you have determined the what and the why. The next part of goal setting is with goals, you are thinking of possibilities, you are innovating, you are keeping your business fresh and alive. You are motivated to keep working toward a new and exciting future. Without goals, you are doing things the way you've always done, working within the status quo. Eventually, your shop will stagnate. Your customers will sense the lack of interest in your shop, and they will look elsewhere for new ideas and new fabric, community, and classes. Setting goals is critical to maintaining a healthy, vibrant business. Delegation and empowerment go hand in hand. When you want to hand a responsibility over to another person, typically an employee, you must first empower the person to know that you trust him or her to act on your behalf without being second-guessed, undermined, or punished. You must give these individuals decision-making authority while supporting their decisions as your own. Training. This means that employees know the general policies and procedures for running the business. They know what is important to the shop owner and have seen the shop owner model behavior that the employee can follow. Self-directed. These employees generate ideas for improvement and anticipate the needs of others, including customers and the shop owners. Appreciated. Showing your staff that they are valued and appreciated is the key to effective delegation. Employees will work incredibly hard for you if they feel that you appreciate what they do. And trusted. I often tell my team to trust their gut. I trust mine and I trust theirs. Trust is something that is earned over time and with repeat positive experiences and outcomes. And delegation, it's one of my favorite things. When you delegate, you are in control of what is happening and who is responsible for each task. And you trust that each person will execute their tasks in a timely and efficient manner. Here are a few suggestions for how and when to delegate. You want to work from a plan, hand over responsibility for projects and tasks, know the difference between important and urgent. How many of you know the Covey quadrant? It is essential to being a good delegator. It teaches you how to know the difference between important versus urgent. Working from what is important versus urgent is what will help you grow your business and allow you and your team to work on what is truly important instead of managing from crisis. Motivation. Being a motivator is the best part of my job. I love creating excitement and opportunity in our organization and setting my team loose to figure out how to get it done. The most important part of being a good motivator is setting a positive tone, making your team feel appreciated and respected, letting them know that it is okay, not just okay, but preferable for them to have fun at work. You can do this by setting a positive tone, by keeping a gratitude log, and allowing yourself time each day to be thankful is a gift you can give yourself, and it is really inspiring. The head, heart, and hands model motivation is an approach to managing addressing three main motivators that affect people. The head, imagine how you want your shop to run. The heart, your passion to inspire your team. And the hands, following up with action and start doing to make the changes happen. When I was young, I had a few opportunities to deal with a bully. I talked to my mom about it, and she said the reason that young person is a bully is because someone is bullying him at home. She also said the best way to diffuse the situation was to engage the person with a loving heart. That kindness would win out, and she was right. That conversation has stuck with me my entire life and informs my way of interacting with others. So, prioritizing. Time management is easy to define, and it is a hard discipline to follow. So, how do you manage your days so that your day doesn't manage you? Well, a good manager or owner's job is to make sure their team has the best tools and training to get the job done quickly and efficiently. A great manager or owner teaches their staff what is important to the organization and makes sure that each and every person knows their role, how they fit into the organization, and how their actions impact the top and the bottom line. What does this really mean? It means that in order for you or your staff to be truly effective, you must be clear regarding your expectations. And when I say clear, I mean quantifiably, easy to measure, no doubt what the end game is, clear. That's what I mean by setting expectations. So keep in mind, when you are scheduling your important tasks, you need to remember that you will need to set aside time to accomplish daily administrative tasks. For example, returning messages, emails, calls, mail. How do you do that? Schedule it into your calendar every day until it becomes a habit. And here's the key: stick to your schedule. You also want to allot adequate time per task and schedule out at least a few days, and better still, a few weeks, so that you are planning for the future. When you are planning, remember to make sure that you have everything you need to successfully complete your tasks. If there are resources required to complete a task ahead of time, prepare for it. One of the best prioritizing tools I use is handle it once and be done with it. Creating a culture is fun. Think of it as your own sociological experiment. You too can develop a space that makes people feel energized and great when they are there. A shop that is buzzing, happy, and hardworking, educating, and thriving is where I want to buy fabrics, books, and supplies. Don't you? Where people are busy producing and learning, where they feel valued and want to generate new ideas of working and generate new revenue. At C&T, I have spent a great deal of time creating a culture, a place where people can be creative and make mistakes and do great work, not good work, great work. A safe, healthy environment is paramount to having a successful workplace. I have put a great deal of energy into weeding out toxic staff members, modeling behavior that I want to see in others, and training. It is hard work and the payoff is terrific. Because when the going gets tough, my team members ask what they can do to make the situation better. They are strong, smart, capable, and know that I have their backs no matter what kind of mistakes they might make. Enjoying work is all about your positive mental attitude toward yourself and what you do. To have a strong PMA, you must be able to see yourself as others see or perceive you. It can be brutal. It can be a brutal reflection, but it is necessary to understand how you come across to other people, especially your staff and customers. Once you have an awareness of how you are viewed by others, you can start looking outward at your shop, at your staff, and your customers. How do you create a positive mental attitude? Well, that's easy. A positive mental attitude takes an equal amount of respect for your staff and customers, a good sense of humor, an ability to laugh at yourself, and more importantly, to admit your mistakes, a wonderful sense of inquisitiveness, and, for me, an equal amount of playfulness. When you think of training, you think of teaching your team tasks that need to be done. I want to take a step back from that and talk a bit about how people learn. There are three basic types of learners. A visual learner has to see it, read it, and write it all, or all three. They learn from watching how something is done. They learn from taking notes. They learn from reading diagrams or manuals. They learn by researching on the internet. When someone has a photographic memory, they are the epitome of a visual learner. I'm a visual learner. I have to see it and I have to write it down. An audio learner is a person who needs to hear the information. They do well in discussion groups, lecture settings, and typically can remember a great deal without writing it down. My youngest son is an auditory learner. He can have you tell him something, and as long as he hears it a couple times, he can remember it. The last is a tactile learner. A tactile learner learns by doing. They are hands-on. They have to see it, touch it, and do it. They have to jump in with both feet. And there are people who don't necessarily need to know why they're doing a task. They just want to know how. Many people are some of each one of these, but one is always the dominant way of learning. As I said, I'm a visual learner, and if I can't take notes while I'm learning a new task, I will have to go back and ask questions later. If someone described how to do something to me and I couldn't take notes, I would have a really hard time remembering. When hiring someone, it is important to determine what type of learner they are so that you can take it into consideration when you want to train her or him physically on the tools they need to use to execute the process you are teaching. If they are a visual learner, you may need to have SOPs to make sure that they have the ability to write down the instructions, or hopefully you have a set of SOPs. If they're an auditory learner, they need to be told how to do something, not just given a manual to read. In order to train people, you need a few tools. A great job description that outlines each position's areas of accountability, not responsibility. You want people who are accountable for delivering results. You want to have SOPs, which are standard operating procedures for each task or set of tasks. For example, opening the shop in the morning should have an SOP, a new hire training checklist, and a schedule for at least the first 2 days of employment with the follow-up training 2 weeks after hiring to make sure the training is on track and successful. Remember, the goal of training is to create productive staff that meet or hopefully exceed your expectations. So the book and the webinar expand on the magazine articles. So it is the 7 Secrets to Management Success, and there are 7 monthly live webinars delving deeper into each topic, and there will also be a Q&A session. I'm also trying to figure out a way to have it so that you can send me questions in advance, so that I have your questions and I'm able to do the research so that I can give you a meaningful answer during the presentation. I wanted to thank you all for being a part of the presentation and to remind you to keep your halos on. Thank you so much and have a great day.